Reality.
UFOs.
Science.
Consciousness.
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That might not be a real thing. The podcast. Three.
That's the good stuff. Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm your co-host, the Candyman, here with my other co-hosts, Danny D and Macca.
What up?
Yo.
Well, not that we record chronologically, but we try to. But last week we promised Danny that we would discuss Bigfoot and lure around said animal, which includes Yetis, which are like, you know, Arctic winter Bigfootish.
Yeah, we're mostly talking about Gigantopithecus americana.
We're talking about
the American Sasquatch. North American Sasquatch.
Bigfoot. Okay.
Yeah.
We are an America First podcast,
Yeah.
so
That's not true.
Fuck foreigners, man.
I don't subscribe to that theory.
Foreigners.
I argue this immediately. I'm a citizen of the world like Albert Einstein.
Yeah, it's all kind of foolish, isn't it?
So, I guess this is going to be really your show, my man. First of all, I know you've mentioned some, and we'll get into them tonight, but for some reason, Bigfoot's still considered a lure animal. There's never been an actual recorded capturing or like a tranquilizing of one that we know of. Like the government might have done it somewhere at some point, but I don't know why they would cover it up.
Said there's actually claims that when Mount St. Helens blew, they recovered the body and they took it, the government.
So the theories are, I know there are multiple theories, but just throwing this out there because I don't know enough about it. But the two general premises as to where these animals are coming from are, one, they're a highly intelligent ape-like species that blends in well with the forest, and their numbers are thinned out to the point.
Nocturnal.
Yeah, all these other things that would make us not see them. So that they're biological organisms that developed on this planet, and their numbers dwindled and died out, or they recessed deep into the forest, because there are a lot of highly forested places.
There are forested places where you can go 100 miles into the forest.
Yeah.
And until there's 100 miles from a road.
Right.
100 miles is a long way in a forest.
in the United States.
Nobody's going out there. Yeah, in the United States, nobody's going out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's they've done a lot of development in Florida, like with the marshlands and whatnot, but there's still huge amounts of undeveloped land, and then other states too, Louisiana and Canada.
Rabid dogs taking over most of the major cities in the United States.
That's right. So that's theory one. Theory two is that there's because they are connected with a lot of these like cow mutilations and UFO bullshit. Well, I'm not saying UFOs are bullshit, but some of these sightings are saying that there's some kind of
Easy, bro.
I'm just saying, this is a theory. They're some kind of interdimensional being that opens some sort of gateway through the membrane.
That might actually make more sense for why they're not spotted.
So there's
sometimes they're spotted around UFO clusters too.
Yeah, so it's like they're either cloaked or they're different dimensional. So I've heard other people say that they're out of phase in our time. So like it would be like if you were living in your reality, essentially any amount of time other than the exact amount of time that I'm on, I wouldn't be able to see you or hear you or anything like that. You'd be out of phase with me, right? So
I wonder if they say like quartz crystals can record, and they say that some residual haunts, like haunted places, happen near big quartz deposits.
So that's...
I wonder if, like, nature... Well, I guess we'd see dinosaurs and shit, too, if that was true, right?
Well,
we'd see, like, dinosaur ghosts.
I've heard of quartz having enormous storage capacity that we just don't really understand yet, but that's, like, the future of a computer.
I keep 3 or 4 different crystals in my pockets at all times.
I'm pretty sure
that's...
well, one's for sleep, peace, a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's why, like, in when the original Superman with Christopher Reeves came out, they made all the computers out of like crystals and stuff because like scientists were saying like quartz will be the future of computers. We'll store our data. Blah,
I
blah,
love
blah.
80s supercomputers.
Oh
too.
man,
but with the tape running and stuff, and like it can go through every system, like traffic lights and everything. Remember on Superman?
Yeah,
made the traffic lights in Superman 3 like start like fucking each other.
I don't know if they were doing that, but they
were doing something.
Something was off.
Crawling up the thing. And
am I correct on the two theories? That's the question.
Well, the second theory is really out there compared to the first theory.
That they're
biological
interdimensional
endangered species in the country. Now, there
makes more sense.
There is evidence for Bigfoot, okay?
What's the data?
When you put it all together, it's pretty good. There's a lot of shit that you have to sort through. But some of the experts, some of the, like Jeff Meldrum from Idaho State University, he's like a tenured professor. He's an anthropology professor. He's an expert on bipedal locomotion for humans, how we evolved.
You talked about that before on the show.
He studies footprints.
It's a non-compliant gait of
humans. Yeah, he does footprints and like also there's like dermal ridges in the footprints. And dermal ridges are basically fingerprints,
right?
Like he's seen like scarring and like club foot for certain Bigfoots.
So why is that significant? Because it's ape-like.
Yeah, I mean it's a giant fucking foot, 18-inch foot that has fingerprints on them, and they find 100 yards of them in a muddy bank, like all with different impressions in the soil. You know what I mean? Because like it might be running, it might be on its toes. Yeah.
UFOs are one thing, right? But I hate that, like, we've heard of Bigfoot since we were kids, and we're like 40 now, right? So, telling me that in almost a half a century, no one's been able to confirm, like, right now what's going on, like, you watch a Wilderness Channel, they've got footage of shit you've never seen before, because they've got
like
all these...
snow leopards.
Yeah, they've got all these motion capture cameras, and they've got, like, the fake animals that are cameras, that like the gorilla looks perfectly like a gorilla to another gorilla. I think they even sent them and everything, and they just put them out there, and they're little robots, and they film. So this is the time if we're going to get footage. This is it.
I wonder about the reality of Bigfoot. Like, if it actually is a real creature, which I would fucking be delighted.
Well,
it's real.
You seem pretty interested in it.
Oh yeah, I am. But I'm not a fucking idiot either. It's. I believe on wishful thinking. I'm not like, I wouldn't bet my kids on it, like that it's real. But imagine the reality of if it is, like just the eating, the hunting, the mating. Imagine 2 800-pound Bigfoots mating. God.
Pretty loud.
That'd be the greatest video ever.
Not in the middle of 100 miles of woods. I don't know. Go ahead.
Let me say this, too. And Dan, I'm going to ask you. I know the answer, but I want to ask you. Why don't we ever find Bigfoot, Sasquatch bodies, dead bodies?
Well, there's numerous reasons. When we don't really find deer and moose bodies or bear bodies either. The woods is really good at recycling and disposing of bodies super fast. If you ask any hunter, they might find antlers and stuff, but they will not find bodies in their whole career.
Ants.
Usually, they have to be very lucky. Yeah, and porcupines eat bones.
Fact, that's what
they might bury their dead. Yeah. We don't even know.
I was thinking they bury the dead.
Yeah, maybe they might.
It does porcupines. We don't find a lot of skeletons out there.
It's a known fact that porcupines eat their bones. Yeah. Known fact to every man that knows about Bigfoot, Chris. Come on.
What are you saying? That they like the actual all bones, or specifically Bigfoot bones?
Specifically Bigfoot, but that's like they're
juicy and marrow. They like.
It's like there's not many. It's
a delicacy.
What are we talking numbers here, Dan? 2,000 to 6,000 Bigfoots in North America?
Yeah, they say I think probably more like 500. But you know what the thing is cool about Bigfoot is, if it was fake, you see they have like BFRO is like the Bigfoot Research Organization. They have like maps of like sightings, and like you can click on it and like go back to any date that there was a significant sighting that was reported.
People are starting an actual tracking effort.
This tracking effort it's been around since like the 70s. So what's cool is that they're in clusters. So like they'll be like the Pacific Northwest, Florida, Texas, Western Mass, but none in Hawaii. Why? Because there's no Bigfoots in Hawaii. But there's probably Bigfoots in Pacific Northwest. Like, you'd think if it was fake, completely fake, like Hawaii would come up with their own stupid Bigfoot.
That's true.
But they didn't.
They have They're
Condors on the verge of extinction.
Bunch of islands, yeah. Extinction's fucked, huh?
Yeah, I have. You can see one of my pinky rings today is a insect in amber. It's a mosquito in amber.
That is badass.
Yes,
Very
it's
cool.
like from.
Can you take it off? Can I look
Jurassic
at it
Park.
up close?
Yeah. Oh, it's not real,
But
it's.
The idea is real.
Yeah, the idea is. I've had an insect in amber before.
I see what this is. This
Baltic amber.
This is a picture with a glass thing around it to make it look like
But
that.
it's cool look.
All right, I'll give you a.
Give me a B- for that.
No, I'll give you a eighth of a point.
Yeah, but I'm also wearing a ring next to it that's carved out of human bone. So
You get a quarter of a point.
I
for
get
that.
some more points for that one.
Maybe an eighth. I don't know. I'm disappointed. I thought you would have the real deal, but maybe someday.
Oh, I guess I'm gonna have to get the real deal now.
I just feel like it's something you would own.
No, it's something I will own because now I'm not gonna get it out of my head. You know.
Yeah.
But
So Bigfoot's a weird thing to me because. Okay, I'll be honest with you. The last fucking Bigfoot movie that I watched was Harry and the Hendersons. But I know that there's been like some horror movies that have come out over the last few years.
Harry and the Hendersons is a pretty good one, and the makeup effects and creature effects in it are friggin' famous.
It's an interesting light on the Bigfoot phenomenon because like the hunter that had seen him becomes like obsessed with it. Like why would a guy like if you're a hunter, I get it, you're a hunter. And, like, you say you saw something and everyone's like, fuck you, you didn't. But, like, do you then become obsessed and, like, dedicate your life to the finding of this creature? And, like, what is it that, like, I know everyone's different and different things make people tick differently. But, like, some people have dedicated their lives
I like when
to the
somebody
pursuit of,
to something. Like, just become a psycho for something. Yeah. You know, I always wanted to be one of those guys that had, like, a trailer that I lived alone. Well, not really alone. But I had this, like, weird trailer where, like, I had, like, UFO, like, weird, like, rare tapes and, like, just, like, rare footage and shit and, like, shit that, like CB radios and bullshit.
Fucking gold mine.
Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
gold mine of Bigfoot.
Yeah, one of those guys in the 90s in a movie, like an apocalyptic movie that they went to visit because he had the tape.
You live in a cargo shipping container.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, come downstairs.
They have some dope ones of those now.
Awesome.
Especially since COVID hit, like a lot of rich people
are innovative.
Built these like underground dwellings to like bug out shelters, so to speak.
Yeah, people are amazing.
And but they made some very comfy living ones, and there's some new small houses I'm gonna show you later too that are cool.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that it hasn't been as like it's pretty big in our culture. Like it's in commercials. It's has like you said the Federation.
Yeah.
Something.
BFRO, is that what it's called?
BFRO, yeah.
Research.
What's the commercial? Is it where the people mess with Bigfoot? Is that beef jerky?
Beef something like that, yeah.
Oh, Sasquatch jerky is what it is, right?
Yeah. I'm surprised that there has been more movies. Like Harry and Henderson came out in 1987, and that was a pretty good movie. Then they had a TV show, and it was more of a comedy. Why haven't there been more?
Yeah. Well, speaking of a Bigfoot lover, with us tonight we have my wife has a headset on right now.
Oh boy.
She's the king. In more ways than one, and say hello.
Hello, everyone.
There you
Ooh,
go.
You sound good.
That's the famous wife that Dan's always
She's
going
here
on
just
about.
to keep me in check tonight.
Yeah.
Because I really want to talk about Bigfoot's dick, but
Smells like Bigfoot.
I was going to say the smell. Like, I know what my balls can smell like after a little while. So I can't imagine if you rubbed Bigfoot's balls and grundle and smelled your finger, you'd probably die.
Yeah, my dog doesn't smell great when I don't bathe him for a while.
Yeah, but they say Bigfoots especially smell bad, especially the Florida skunk ape. There's a picture of the skunk ape that this old lady took. It's a great picture. It looks like a fucking demonic orangutan, but I don't think so. I think it's a skunk ape.
Here's my second question it's kind of a follow-up on the dead body question, but if these things are an intelligent species, right? Like, let me ask you this. What intelligence level are they considered? Are they post-Stone Age? And if so, why aren't we finding any dwellings?
Well, I think chimpanzees have entered the Stone Age, they say. So I think they're probably more like Stone Age, like pre-Stone Age.
So they're smart enough to be like a chimp.
They're intelligent, like in like a lot more than your dog is. Basically, they're intelligent. Probably take a gorilla times 2, and then a little bit under us.
Well, there's a big difference because like
We don't-
gorillas
they
are
don't-
sitting out in the wilderness
Right.
getting rained on, and
They don't
still
create
throwing
technology.
They can't
really.
even use their hands regularly.
Yeah. Well, Bigfoots do create large structures though in the woods. They cross.
Really?
Yeah, they like take trees and they make markers with them. Like they break them. And there have been documented cases of like trees being snapped, like in the vicinity of Bigfoot sightings, like around that time. And they'll snap trees and they'll lean them like a cross pattern, like a crossroads in the middle of the woods.
It's like a marker.
Like a marker, yeah.
Like you're at this sector 10E
Yeah.
on their map.
If you're camping too, they like to take big shits in your food.
Really?
No.
Because I was gonna say that seems like exposure.
They have been known to be dicks.
This is an elusive.
Yeah. Oh, they are dicks. They'll throw rocks at you and shit.
What's the amount of different big feet? Is it big feet? So you've got.
I think
I like
Bigfoot.
North American Sasquatch.
So there's North American Sasquatch.
Yeah, that's Bigfoot.
Then you've got a Yeti.
Yeti is
Which is-
Himalayan.
That's
Bigfoot.
snow based.
Yes, it's not white. It's like a brown Bigfoot.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then you said
Then you have-
Florida skunk ape.
Florida skunk ape. Well, that's a different.
That's a
one in the United
recognized.
States.
Is that a recognized species, or is it
No,
like
I think
an
it's,
offshoot of Bigfoot?
I think it's an offshoot, but there's various other ones too. There's like orang pendek in Sumatra.
Where are they?
They have they're in Sumatra.
What about
down in Sumatra?
What about South America in the rainforest?
South America? I don't think there's much of a Bigfoot. There's like giant sloth and and chupacabra. And there's a bunch of things, but then there's like the yowie and the yeren. There's a bunch of different ones. Like I'm speaking of Australia and China.
I feel like if
There's
it was
one
in
in
Australia,
Oh,
they'd
this
find it.
Siberia has like a Bigfoot. It's like that's seen quite a bit, and even the government tries to fake it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with it is that I get that people don't believe in it because it's like we don't have any proof of it, but it's like
There's little things.
we're
though.
not inventing this like an anaconda is a real thing. We're talking about a 20-foot fucking snake that can eat a man.
Yes, but we don't see giant anacondas very often. They
No,
go out
but-
there and they
but they're
measure
out-
them pretty small.
They exist.
They exist. Though giant anacondas probably exist.
There's there's so many fucking creatures on the planet that have wacky biological mechanisms built into them. That why can't there just be a Bigfoot?
There could be, and even like the animals that we know, like there are myths about certain sizes of them, like snakes over 30 feet. They're not really confirmed, but there's always claims of them, and there's claims in like the old textbooks that say like 33 feet was the biggest snake ever, or like great white sharks, 25-foot great white sharks. We know they probably get to 20 feet.
You think the ocean consume, like you said, the forest is good at recycling shit. The ocean's got
Yeah.
to be the best.
Yep. The ocean's gonna be way better. Yeah, because the fish and sharks eat it.
What the fuck happened to the dinosaurs? Why are there so many skeletons? They just got wiped out in a massive
Wiped out.
explosion.
Well, there were so many of them too.
Flash.
And that's a very tiny. First of all, we find a tiny percentage of the fossil skeletons that actually exist. So we've only probably found like 0.005%, and now even less 0.005% of the dinosaurs that existed ever became fossilized. It has to be super perfect conditions to become fossilized.
Yeah.
So
It's got to be like the lava or something.
So there must be species of like in between, like during different times of evolution of like different raptors and T-Rex type dinosaurs that we just never discovered because they never had any fossils survive.
They were pretty good bone-eating scorpions.
porcupines. There were some good
porcupines
porcupines
back then.
Good try.
Thank you.
That was a good try. See what happens? You take off of booze for fucking 8 weeks, and then you throw a scotch down.
That's it.
Jesus.
I wonder if they eat the dong bone.
I
There is a dong bone.
That's their first.
There's a dong. I think whales. One of these things have the biggest dong bone. I forget what it is.
Blue whale?
blue whale's a big animal.
Yeah, well, no, we have like weird platelet like muscles in our dick, like cartilage that like gets soft and hard. But some of them have bones, like actual bone that sticks up.
Lucky.
Yeah, like walruses. Yeah. They got a dong bone.
Unless it gets broken and then they're screwed forever.
Well,
Cartilages.
a men's penis can be broken too.
I know it happened
That's
on a
frightening.
show I watched. It doesn't make sense exactly. It has
Doesn't
to be
really.
has to be erect for it to occur.
You
right?
can you can like abuse my dick. You could like bend it whichever way you want and it won't break.
Tell
It's
you
amazing
what,
that
based on the testimony of Alizé last week, it sounds like people are testing the limits of what you can smash a penis with without breaking it.
one hand washes the other.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't care if it's out of order or context. I'm just saying.
Gotcha. So yeah, I mean, Extinction's weird. This week I knew we were talking about Bigfoot, and it just happened to show up in my feed that they found a new dinosaur in Argentina, I guess. That's where it was, and it's like the biggest one they've ever found. So you've got this like enormous skeleton, like mostly intact.
Wait. In Argentina, you said?
Yeah, and it's got a weird name, like a Titansaurus or
Titanosaurus kind of thing. They have a Titanoboa too, which is an anaconda type boa constrictor type snake. Because the anaconda is a type of boa, and it was like 80 feet long.
Is it's living now? Or
no, it's dead.
Back?
They found skull parts and like teeth and some vertebrae. The thing was so huge it dwarfed every snake today by like it would have eaten us.
I wonder how much humans have increased the extinction rate of other animals versus like what they would have done.
Definitely.
And the question really is like people say like it's unnatural, like, oh, what we're doing is unnatural. And I'm like, well, we were made presumably naturally on this planet.
What does unnatural mean?
And we're just doing what we think we're supposed to
Right.
be doing. Same as like a dog taking a shit when it knows it's supposed to take a shit.
Right.
It's just like we think we're supposed to be making computers and roads and cities.
Yeah, we took our materials from the earth and made cell phones with it.
For all we know, that's what the
All of it's organic.
Yeah, for all we know, that's what the Earth wanted originally, and this other organic period was just to fuel that and get it going.
Yeah, maybe the Earth just wanted plastic, and like it had to create us to get plastic.
It seems like that's not the case. It seems like we're causing environmental damage for the rest.
I would
of the
say we're
but
we're causing global warming and weather, climate change.
How fast can Bigfoot travel? Do you know?
I don't know. Probably pretty
gait.
fast though.
Yeah, if
Probably
they wanted
pretty
to
fast.
run.
Yeah, I think at night they can fucking move.
I'm assuming they're ninja-like.
And I'm sure their endurance and agility and speed is far superior to ours.
Saying they have night vision.
Yeah.
So what?
I'm sure they do.
Huge eyes.
I've heard they have eye glow at night, which is usually nocturnal creatures. Like if you shine a light at its eyes, it'll glow, and ours won't do that.
To get the mirror in the back,
Yes.
the double mirror reflects it back, enhances it, something.
And they do that calls, which is cool. Like they do in that Bigfoot show.
So night vision in itself is amazing.
Yeah.
Vision is amazing.
Yes.
Biology developed the ability to see things with vibrating
Unbelievable.
light, and that's not like everything has it. Everyone has an eye, so we're all like, it's just an
The
eye.
eye itself is one of the most miracles in nature ever.
Yeah, but like
it's amazing. Everything's amazing. How it works.
This animal that we haven't
How
yet,
we're able to breed.
this animal that we haven't yet found, just because of the numbers are small.
Yeah.
But people just can't believe it. They're
I
like,
think
no fucking way.
No, I think there's weirder things though in the world. I mean,
I think people believe it.
I think some people do.
But there's some people who are like, well, is it important for me to believe?
There are people that are skeptics at everything though. They think we're alone in the universe. They don't realize how fucking. Oh, that's one thing I want to talk about today. Did you guys see the Mars rover landing?
I saw the
drone.
The new Mars.
Yeah,
rover.
the drone. It was like a size of a tank.
Are you
and
kidding
a
me?
Friggin' drone.
Is that a serious question?
Yeah. It
Of course I saw it.
It landed on a cable, and then it released the cable and just shot back up. And so this is all automated because we can't directly communicate with anything on Mars. You have to wait 20 minutes.
I think it's an 18-minute.
18 minutes. So they had to watch this later and call it later. But this thing just went down, dropped off this rover, took off.
AI controlled.
Yeah, that was the moment I was really like, wow, we're in the future now.
I mean, I hope it gets better, futuristic.
Yeah, if you
What's better? What do you want?
More utopian, like
he wants
Star
to look
Trek.
like Back to the Future 2.
No, Back to the Future 2
Flying
looks
cars.
like Back to the Future 2 looks like the worst case of product placement, capitalism, and economic bullshit. Like everyone got out there and worked because if you remember in the movie, the Japanese had taken over American corporations, and everyone was like, they painted it to look like everyone's part of this work machine, and that's like the opposite of what I want for a future. I want like a Star Trek future.
No, I like the way we got it going now. Not a lot has changed, but we've had some cool technology thrown in.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a Star Trek communicator that's Bluetooth that you can press and say computer.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's this whole documentary they did about inventions that Gene Roddenberry, like things that were in the original Star Trek, just things that were in the original Star Trek that they put in there for special effects that then later on became real in real life. Like one of them is just simply automatic doors. Like when you go to the grocery store, like that's when my grandfather looked at that and thought, wow, now we're living in the future. Did you see this? This door opened.
Yeah, right.
There's about a 20-year period, and I'd say it's like a 10% chance of it currently happening now, where I can't walk through a pair of those doors without using my hands and using the Force to open them like a Jedi.
Yeah,
I just can't do it.
That.
I just
you have to do it.
I don't even think about it. I just go.
I always wonder about.
For all I know, that's how they're opening.
I always wonder about technology with our parents and stuff like. They've had the exact same amount of time, if not longer, to get used to computers and cell phones and shit. And, they're just...
It's different, though.
I guess.
They always think of it.
They always look at the next generation, too, and say, the generation that's younger, and say, oh, these kids, I hate the things they do and stuff.
Yeah,
everybody said that throughout history. It's like, once you start doing that, don't do that.
I want to stay...
That's going to happen.
I want to stay on Bigfoot, but I mean... Technology changes fast. And so, that first group that couldn't use a computer at all, that's one thing. But, when you get older, you just can't learn either.
Oh, you're done. That's part of what it is. You refuse to learn.
I think that
it's part of that.
Can learn.
It's part of your generation thing. When I grew up with this, we didn't need that.
Yeah, no, but...
Well, we do need it now, so...
Yes, but what I'm saying is, whatever the statistic is, I don't know, but kids can learn languages easier than adults, and I think there's a physiological reason for that. Just like their muscles are in better shape, I think their brains are they're storing and processing information more efficiently than
especially new stuff.
An older brain, which has been working its ass off since day one, right?
Yeah, it's older.
So yeah,
we I was talking about the generational thing the other day. I stopped myself because I was giving some shit to the younger kids saying,
babies are growing up with a computer in their hand now.
No, I know, and I forget my point, but it's my kid. Oh, my kid is 3. All right, my youngest,
James Tiberius,
and he can work a friggin' tablet or an iPad,
right?
Like nobody's business,
because he's nothing
else.
He
can
else
barely talk. He's flipping through he's fucking partitioning his hard drive. This kid's not really, but he's 3.
Yeah, he knows how to operate it.
He knows how to operate it
better than your grandmother.
Yeah, right. Well, exactly.
Let me not say 10 years ago, if I gave that same device to your grandmother when it was new and no one knew how to use it, and you gave it to 3-year-old him, he'd figure it out quicker.
Right. Yeah. Right.
She'd be like,
he's 3 years old. He's still shitting his pants.
I have some interesting thoughts on that. You guys may agree. What
do you got?
You even, I guess, our age bracket will be well, if we live in the easiest time. It's so easy to live.
It's a great time.
I mean, we don't have to hunt for our own food. We don't have to grow our own food. We choose.
Well, it's been like that for a long time.
Right, it's been like that for a long time.
Yeah.
But every
Nobody's
generation
doesn't remember that.
There's a group of people in technology and other places that when they're originally striving to do something, it's to make life better.
Sure. And it's good intentions.
Each generation shits on that and goes, well, I didn't have to go through that.
Right.
So why the fuck are we doing that for these people?
I was saying the other day, too, about teenagers, or kids that are 20, I was giving them shit oh, that's a generational thing. And then I stopped myself and I'm like, wait a second. Everybody said that about the millennials, too. They gave us all the shit. And now we're giving them all the shit. And it's they're just us, just younger.
Yeah.
They might do things differently because I don't need to understand everything. And the more older I get, the less I understand about their age. But I try to catch myself when I start shitting on the younger generation.
Yeah, I think it's a good habit.
Yeah, because you don't want to be one of those good old days people that has a false sense of the old days. Oh, back in the 60s we were moral. It's oh, really? People weren't getting molested and raped? I think they were. It just everything was wholesome on TV. That was the only thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shadow play. It's a commercial.
Yeah.
It's fake. Yeah, they were censoring when a government decides they're going to censor what's on the airwaves and censor what's on the internet and censor anything.
Yeah.
They're trying to shape the, viewpoint and cultural ideals of the people, right? Yeah. They don't want anything getting in there that might spark some ideas that might not jive with what they want to get done, right?
Sure.
And so that's basically what, that's happening all the time. It happens to us. It happens around the world. It's I mean, it's as old as fucking people that were rich enough to hire people to run around and spread rumors. Hey, did you hear what was going on? This guy's fucking, he's amazing. You should vote for him for,
right.
He should be the new czar or some shit.
The new selectman.
It's all one hand washes the other.
Right. Which
it is.
One hand washes the other. One hand washes the other.
Yeah.
Can
I segue into something that I thought was really funny this week?
Please do.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I had a really weird fantasy that I just thought of recently. I had a fantasy that I was adopted by a really black family, like in the inner city, and they adopted me, and I was just white kid living with a black family.
What year was it? Was it present time?
It was in the 90s.
Were you
most
it was like
from your family?
It was like a no, it was like a sitcom thing in my head, I was some dorky white kid living with a black family.
Like
I don't know why.
Like a reverse,
it's so stupid.
Like a reverse Different Strokes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it'd make a good sitcom.
They had a lot. Something was on Archie Bunker this week, or maybe you were talking to me about that guy that got fired for saying something that he liked Archie Bunker, and they had, dude. There's so much racism and anti-gay and all this other stuff just pumped into mainstream TV back then.
And they talk about the good old days. The good old days were racist.
In comedy.
Sexist and racist. That's what the greatest generation.
Yeah.
Not saying they weren't great for World War II and stuff, but there's a lot of racism, alcoholism, and
homosexuality is they've been discriminated against on and off periodically throughout history. Society one day decides, oh yeah, this is fine. And that goes on for a while. And then some other ideological group comes in and they're like, oh, you can't do that. It's against these rules.
Right.
And then they teach everyone that. And then, there's it's like a fight. It's like a constant battle for, what's okay to be when it's just natural.
Right.
And that's, they're in this country right now. My kid was telling me, I can't believe we're getting into this because this is supposed to be Bigfoot night.
No, we can branch off.
We'll bring it back to Bigfoot.
I'll bring it back to Bigfoot.
My kid was just giving me the stats about the kids in her school and the kids she works with and how many of them are openly homosexual. And it's there's 5 or 6 she can name. When we went to school, which was only 20 years ago, there were a couple of kids that everybody just straight up knew were gay. But they didn't come out of the closet about it. And they hung out with girls and everyone knew that they were gay, but
we knew
never,
some, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't bring a guy to the prom, blah, blah, blah. If they did, some idiot.
They wouldn't have let them.
Yeah, some idiot. Yeah, they wouldn't let them in, or some idiot jock would, that would be a lawsuit and a half now.
Oh, yeah.
So, these people have had to fight for their rights, on and off periodically throughout history, but we're entering the upswing for them right now. So if you're gay out there, have a ball, baby, because now you can do whatever you want. It's pretty much accepted. And
it is not learned behavior, by the way, because I did not learn.
Oh, I think it's genetic.
To be heterosexual. You couldn't take that out of me.
You're told that's how you're supposed to feel, but you can't feel something you're told. You have to feel it.
Right.
You just have to feel. Yeah, you could be oh, you're supposed to be into girls, but if you're into guys, you're into guys.
That's it, and everything inside you is going to be no, this is what I'm into.
Penis inside you.
Just listen to whatever you feel.
Big
but yeah,
penis.
if you're gay, enjoy it now, people, because in 300, 400, 500 years, you never know. It could be back. Could be out of fashion again. I don't know.
Could be out of fashion.
But I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope it goes great for everybody.
I hope it goes great for everybody. They should be able to do what they want.
So it kind of plays into the Bigfoot thing, because homosexuality, in my opinion, is a natural population control.
It's found in nature.
And I believe it's to stave off overpopulation, which could lead to extinction.
So that means some Bigfoot are gay.
Other species. Well, maybe not
True.
anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're gonna have a show on the Fibonacci sequence, which is this like number pattern that repeats in nature all the time, but it seems to govern like the males and females of rabbits and other things like that. There are all these other weird biological triggers that go on in a group that you and I just don't know. Like, pheromones, we know what they are. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many there are, if there are categories. I don't know what we can isolate them, use them. If some rich guy isn't out there right now figuring out like how to make, love potion number 9 out of pheromones.
How many different scents are there, too?
Some guy,
combinations.
Some dude should have already had this down by now. Like, why wasn't this down? Like, I should be able to put a drop of some pheromones on my neck, walk into a grocery store, and it should be like a fucking fish mating season. Like, women should be dropping groceries and keeling over because they smell the pheromones and can't control themselves.
Yeah, Love Potion number 9 was a great 80s movie.
Yeah. And
Sandra Bullock.
But there are other weird things, okay? Some scientists think that fungi, through some sort of biochemical communication actually tell the forest how to grow and dictate like all of it.
Those are facts.
It's like programming for computer.
We'll look into it, but
we should do a show on that.
Then you got
the internet of the forest.
We'll need to look that.
And you got like with women, right? For whatever reason, they hang out in a group for a certain period of time. King, I know you're doing your homework, but maybe you can chime in since you're the only you're the only person in the room with a vagina. When women hang out together, and they hang out for a certain period of time, their menstrual cycles seem to link up for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay?
Excuse me, yes.
That's okay. You haven't been on talking. So what's the deal with that?
So actually, that comes from a lot of the pheromones that you will smell that come out of our armpits.
Ooh, I love diving right into your armpits.
So great. Cool it off, you two. You have your period, and you're around another woman. She smells those pheromones, and it tells her body, hey, this girl has her period. Maybe I should get mine.
Yeah, it could kick her into it
happens
early.
It's happened with girls we've lived with.
So when I used to visit a women's music festival in Michigan, if you went there and you were within maybe a week or even 2 before your menstrual cycle, being around that many other women that were also on their cycle would kick you in almost immediately.
That's fucking nuts.
That's weird. It happened with the monkeys I used to work with. They would all do it together.
So I postulate, my man, that when humans mate, or any mammals, or whatever species, I don't know, it seems to be mammals have homosexuality and that like other animals don't, or maybe I just don't know if like insects have homosexuality, but they don't seem to. But
also they mate for pleasure too.
It seems to be
I don't think reptiles do that.
Seems to be mammalian in nature, but like let's say that a guy and a girl hook up. There's some sort of storage in their body. It's communicating with the other one, telling them like, hey, population of the Earth's 8 million right now. Better slow it down. And voila, they make a homosexual child. Because nature's saying, hey, slow down the mating, slow down the babies. You should be attracted to the same sex, right? It could not be that at all. It could just be psychological, and they're born that way, and that's it. But it seems to me that it exists in all these other organisms that are mammals. So I think with the Bigfoot thing, you'd find a low rate of homosexuality. Either that or it's 100%.
They're all gay.
Imagine these creatures, though.
Female or male.
They're 8 foot tall. Yeah. Oh, the women have big pendulum swinging.
What if you're a hairy dude? What if you're a hairy dude running through the woods and one of them just likes the way you look and just decides to grab you and have your way? What do you get?
I got another thing.
There would be 0 reports of sightings. It'd be like, nope. How was the woods this weekend, Macca?
There's a subculture.
Nothing special happened at all.
There's a subculture. There's a subculture of women out there that have websites and fantasize about being taken and had their way with a Bigfoot.
By a big hit.
Yeah, there are women that write fantasy essays or like, you know what I mean, like short stories on it.
It was on the Umbrella Academy that the Luther is somehow he's transformed with a serum that makes him ape-like and super muscular but super, super hairy. And the only place he can fit in are these like kink clubs where they have these hairies wearing these costumes.
Kingsley's seen that.
Great show.
And so he he goes there and there's like these super hot chicks are like, oh my god, you're so hot. And he's like, he never partied before, and I think he like takes MDMA or something. And he like, is that what he does? He does fucking Molly.
It's a Molly.
Yeah, he does like Molly. He's never taken a drug or bruise in his life. He's tripping out of his mind. These beautiful women are all over him. He wakes up in the morning and they're like, oh, we'll see you later. You know, like it's gonna take you for like they think he's wearing a costume or something.
Like furries.
Well,
Hey,
previously
ahead.
we well, actually maybe not, but I'll bring this up.
I hope I know what you're gonna say. Go.
You know about my thoughts on UFOs and how I didn't necessarily believe they exist until the government admitted it.
Great.
I think we're halfway there on Bigfoot. Okay, so this week in Oklahoma,
Which is another Bigfoot spot.
right, a bounty for finding a Bigfoot is up to $2.1 million.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
It's
Who's
worth
paying
probably
it?
a lot more than that.
Who's paying it?
I think it's a combination. This is where it gets wacky.
This was like a group of people that got together.
Creepy businessman in the chair.
People like Dan
The
that
Bigfoot carcass.
people like Dan that want to know, or is it super wealthy?
I think-
It's like there's only 3 left. We got to get one.
They don't go into that, but however, this is also part of a bill from a legislative bill in the state government of Oklahoma.
So you think this?
Oklahoma State Rep Justin Humphrey's original plan suggested lawmakers set aside $25,000 for a bounty for Bigfoot's capture. This is obviously a state tourism
Jesus.
plan, scheme, whatever they
Is that what's going
I
on?
think that's what it is.
State, let's see. State. The current
Money.
plan is to allow businesses
Everything's
along
money.
State Highway 259A will sell annual Bigfoot tracking permits. Profits from the sales would stay low in local communities. Humphrey said his ultimate goal is to draw tourists by providing safe, affordable fun. Well,
Wait a second.
yeah,
wait a second.
debatable on that.
Time out. So this is like a hunting license,
Right, but
like a fishery wildlife license, but it's to go spelunking through the woods to look for
for
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. The number one rule, they have them legally called Sasquatchers, must capture
Squatchers.
Bigfoot unharmed and can't injure anyone else or break any other laws in the process.
So they don't want it taken down because it's a special protected animal, whatever. What are you supposed to do? Trank it? Is that okay?
Oh, they don't want it killed?
They don't want it killed or harmed.
Well, you can't catch an 8-foot Bigfoot that
You know,
weighs
You
800
got to do
pounds.
something.
You have to have a
That
special
thing is so
license.
strong, he could, like... It's like Arnold's fighting the Predator. Like,
Yeah.
so strong compared to humans.
I'm here. Kill me now.
State tourism
Do it,
officials
do
are now
it.
developing a Bigfoot promotional campaign. This is the state government.
Yeah, but
That includes license plates, decals, an annual commemorative tracking license, and Bigfoot checkout stations.
I just showed Chris a picture of the skunk ape, Florida skunk ape.
I'd shit my
An
pants.
old lady
that.
took a picture of this. This is legit.
I'd shit my pants if I saw that in my street. You're telling me an old lady had the composure to get her camera out?
Got that shot? Yep.
I'd be running.
She got that shot.
I might not move. Its vision could be based on
And she made
movement, like the
sweet love
T-Rex.
to it.
Weirdest looking dog I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Man, I never
It's a
thought
mangy
of the
dog.
I never thought of the remains thing. Like, why aren't there Bigfoot skeletons everywhere? Right?
Well, it's clear. Porcupines eat them.
Well, there are skeletons places. There are. We have giant hominids, and well, not hominid. We have giant
the
great
skulls.
apes skeletons and skulls and stuff like Gigantopithecus. That was like possibly a 8-9 foot orangutan like animal. So we do have. We knew that at some point in history they existed. Something like it existed, and it could have been bipedal. They say, based in the teeth.
Bipedal if you're from America.
Bipedal.
Bipedal if you're British. If you're British, mate, you say pedal instead of pedophile like an American. You
Pedophilia.
say pedophile.
Pedophile.
There's an episode of the IT Crowd. Again, you should fucking watch that show.
Yeah.
This guy's name is Peter, last name File. So like,
Pedophile.
if you're American,
Classic.
it doesn't sound like anything. It's like Peter File. Big deal. Where's Mr. Peter File, right? But they're like in an airplane and they're like announcing pedophile. There's a pedophile in the house, and all the parents are freaking out, grabbing their kids and running and shit. And it's like, oh, I get it. It's the accent. You know what I mean? But Yeah. Accents are fucking nuts, dude.
So is the human race.
Yeah. I said
Sick.
I said lumber yard to my buddy the other day. But
You said lumber? Lumba.
I'll tell you what I said, okay? I said it with a New England accent, but I was saying lumber yard, like a place that stores wood and you keep it all, right? But I said it hardcore with a New England accent. I said lumber yard.
Lumber yard.
And my buddy goes, he's hearing lumber yard. He's like, what's a lumber yard?
Lumber yard. It's like a lumber yard.
A lumber yard.
One word.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
word.
and I'm
Lumber
like,
yard.
what do you mean, what's a lumber yard? What are you talking about, guy? You know what I mean? And
a lumber
he's
yard.
like, you mean a lumber yard? I'm like, yeah, a lumber yard.
Where's he from?
Alaska.
Oh,
Well,
Jesus
there we
Christ.
go.
He's a fan of Sean's pornography, the way he
That's
says
that pornography.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean,
It's real. The Oklahoma State government just made it official.
it made me upset that you...
I got some other things, too, if you want to hear them.
That's not... That whole thing, though, is bullshit. As soon as you say it's to increase tourism.
It's 100% that.
It's like at Area
Well,
51.
Russia's done it, too.
Well, it's like at Area 51. That place isn't secret facility anymore. They probably got the fuck out of there 40 years ago, but they let 1 million people go there and photograph themselves and
Right.
buy T-shirts.
Actually, the perimeter has gotten larger at Area 51. Like, it used to be you could get a lot closer, and now it's, like, gotten a lot larger. Like, the fences have gone out, the cars that stop you sooner have gone out.
Really?
Yeah.
You're telling me?
It's still active.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look into
The
that
truth
one.
is out there.
Truth is out
We could
there.
get the aliens, too, if you want.
No, I could. Well, I mean, I started out with that, man, because there's a lot of people that, like, with the cow mutilations, they
Yeah.
think that there's this, like, Bigfoot-like. It's a weird thing because they feel, the tools that are mutilating these cows are like not. There's like some precision cuts and some like ripping, hacking cuts. Very,
Yeah.
very strange.
It is strange.
It's almost like a barbarian came in with a stone axe and ripped one side of it to shreds, and then like some Nazi super scientist dude mutilated the other side with a scalpel, and then they somehow made all the blood disappear, and then there's no
I don't know how Bigfoot would do
footprints.
that, though.
So that's the thing of it is like some of these cattle mutilations they've said have had Bigfoot footprints near them. And I'm like, and there's supposed to be some kind of correlation. They feel like because there's no, like, they find footprints around the body, but they can't find any leaving or coming to the site. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, what the fuck? Like, how is this massive footprint here? Where's all the blood? How did the cow get mutilated? Like, forensically, it's not adding up. It's like someone's just fucking with you, saying like, hey,
So
if you know about forensic science, you'll know that this doesn't make sense, and only then will you know it's fucked up. Like, if this happened 300 years ago, and who the fuck knows them? They must have They have Farmers Almanacs report of cow mutilations. How far back do they
I
go?
wonder. I know Native Americans reported...
Buffalo?
No, Sasquatch. They reported it, the men in the forest, big hairy men in the forest, a lot longer before we ever, like, modern times.
Cattle ranching is like a cutthroat thing.
what if Sasquatch are just aliens that get dropped off here, and it's like they're...
People think that.
They think that, I mean, because sometimes there's been a bunch of sightings of, like, a Sasquatch in the area, along with sightings from other people in the area of UFOs that same night.
It's like we wear clothes, right?
Right.
Like, you got
I wear
something
stylish
on.
clothes.
Yes, you do. You look good all the time.
Thank you. I don't leave the house without looking like...
We wear them because we lost our body hair, I think. It's not, I mean, now in today's society, it's kind of a sense of shame, but
Of
like...
course, you can't just walk into the mall with your dinky out.
Yeah, but there are still people alive today in the world that live in parts of the world where they're walking around naked in tribes.
Yeah.
So it's not like humans developed clothes specifically for shelter, because they also did it for style, right? But we don't, if we were covered in fur, would you think and you were super intelligent, you'd probably
We'd still have accessories.
You'd style it, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
we have hairdos.
We'd have, like, braids in our
They would
fur
have
and,
whole
like...
body do's.
Oh, yeah. People would get their whole body braided.
But the point is like, if you were an extraterrestrial species that was super intelligent and had technology, but you also were covered in fur and looked like an ape, the first thing we would see is an animal. We'd be like, oh, that's an animal, not a fucking intelligent thing. That's an ape.
You know, also getting back to like why I think if Bigfoot is real, the question, what if it's real? Like, how does it avoid us? Well, drive down the road. We live in a wooded area. Drive down the road and look into the woods. How far can you see at night? You can't see shit.
5 feet tops.
5 feet. All right, these are intelligent creatures that can smell us coming miles away.
Not in super heavy forests either.
They can anticipate our moves miles away and then hide like nobody's business. Okay?
Ninjas.
So they can see us coming through the woods, they can smell us, and they can elude us. That's it. And there's other evidence, I think, too. But
what if they're extraterrestrials that are dropped off here and it's part of their like rite of passage to do like a
that's what happens in The Predator.
6 months in the woods, and they have to, and they're naked. Or it's a TV show,
a
naked
Vision
and scared,
Quest.
But for Bigfoots on that alien planet.
Yeah, that's a Vision Quest.
We fucking figured it out.
You've never seen The Predator? Like, I know you've seen the original, but haven't you seen the offshoots?
I have not.
So what do you do all day?
Are you a communist?
Seriously, I think you might be a commie.
I haven't watched it in a while,
Sleeper cell.
I just have to read.
The Predator, like these aliens and like their society is like they value the hunt, you know, and they take like their young hunters out to like places like this and they make them hunt. Or on the one they did with Adrian Brody, they had it on another planet where they brought the game in and then they let the hunters loose. Yeah. And
they brought the best warriors they could get. Basically.
Yeah, to break these new predator kids in.
One of the guys they brought, nobody could figure out why they brought him because he was so weak. He was the kid from that 70s show, and he ended up being a serial killer. That's why they brought him.
Topher Grace.
He was he was the most dangerous one there, but they didn't know
pussy.
It. Yeah. Oh, he's a wicked pussy.
That movie was a good movie, but
that name's pussy.
Adrian Brody was weird because like he did a good job on the movie, but they should have had somebody else because
Lawrence Fishburne was in it too.
Yeah, he was weird in that too.
Yeah, he was.
He hasn't been the same since The Matrix.
No. Yeah, my kids.
How can you be?
Well, yeah, he's aged a little bit too. My kids are obsessed with Predator, Terminator, and Alien right now.
Good.
That's the thing.
That's what you like when you were their age.
Cool. Yeah, like I was thinking I'm like,
used to love Aliens.
They're 8 and 9, almost 10. I'm like, yeah, but I used to rent like Friday the 13th movies when I was like 6 years old. I swear to God, I couldn't see over the counter, and they rent them to me. There were boobies in the movie.
Hey, Dan.
They rent them to me.
That was the best.
Yeah.
Growing up.
I still love it.
Watching those movies.
Yep. Every Saturday or Friday night, you would go to Blockbuster, and we'd all pick out movies.
Yep.
We'd try and get movies where we knew there were boobies in it. We'd try to get like funny movies, and then a lot of horror movies, and we'd all get like 1 or 2 each. It was great.
This is in Lowell?
What's that?
Like when you lived in Lowell?
No, well, I lived in Lowell and just like in general, like going to Blockbuster as a kid or Video Thunder or something like that. Or even Ray's State Line had video rental.
That
like years.
You talk about Extinction. That was a whole
industry
thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Netflix.
Netflix. Blockbuster. They fucked up. They couldn't see it. They could have their own Netflix.
Done it.
They should have been it.
They should have been right on top of it. But somebody was probably like, "Oh, that's stupid. That's silly internet stuff."
Exactly. 100%.
Somebody said that.
Never last.
Yeah. And now there's one Blockbuster left. It's in some weird ass town.
It's in Oregon or something. Right?
Yeah, it's like in one weird ass town that doesn't have internet or like cable. And so they have one Blockbuster left.
Could be
like a relic.
Could be Alaska. My homeboy.
Could be.
My homeboy lives up there. My homeboy that lives in Alaska told me that they don't ship to Alaska almost anything. Like if you order,
no, right? You can't order stuff online.
And it's like he hates it. Like he was like I haven't really seen him flip out too much, but like he was flipping out the other night about it, and I was like, "What are you talking about, man? It's part of the country. You know what I mean?" But you got to, and there was no explanation. Like Canada's not tariffing it. I don't know why. I think it's just fucking far away.
It's so far away, and the planes. The only way to get there are these like planes that like so many 30% of them like crash within their lifetime. These planes because of the weather. It's so bad.
We should go to Alaska and open up stuff.
I hear the mosquitoes are bad in summer.
And it's dark. Like they have 24-hour dark periods, right? Or
I'd love that.
24-hour light.
Is that what that vampire movie had? It was like 28 days or whatever.
Yeah, you're right. It was like an Alaska town.
They went. They were like. It was like a vacation spot for vampires of the world. They were like going to go there and feast for 28 days straight. Like just go nuts.
Yeah, and everybody just hide out and let it pass.
Did you ever watch The Strain? That was going on. Like you'd watched it. Like, I got mixed reviews from the wife. who has a very good barometer for sci-fi, by the way.
She watches a lot of sci-fi. Watches a lot of anime, too. Like, I can't take the anime because they're just yelling in Japanese. Like, wata wata!
Kira's learning Japanese. My kid, she was speaking it
Really?
today at the table, and my parents were like, "What?" Very impressed. So my dad started yelling berserk nonsense sounds that sounded Japanese, and my kid was like, "That is racist."
I was just thinking about that. It is totally racist. She can speak Japanese a little bit.
Yeah, Japanese is a really nice language to learn for the Asian languages because it's phonetic. So it has very clear-cut phonics in it. Like, so you learn those, and you can string them together and start hearing what they're saying, and then from there you can memorize
It's
the
not
words.
like you're saying like guttural, like
Yeah, there are other. Yeah, like bush
bang
people.
bang billy bing.
Well, like Cambodian and Thai and Vietnamese and just Southeast Asian languages are tough. Hindi is tough.
I think any of them are tough. I can't learn shit. I know English and that's it.
Like the Latin-based languages are easy, and they're really
Easier.
Supposedly,
they're just Greek-based.
You know, I feel like I could do anything these days. I'd love to try and learn how to like speak Spanish or something, like for real, not like textbook Spanish like in school. I'm talking like really like fluent
You
Spanish.
just got to do it every day until you learn it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah, it's like guitar.
Immersion.
When we were kids, you memorized what Mouth said in Goonies in Spanish about
Yeah, ser encerrada caquicaras cucarachas por 2 semanas sin agua y sin comida.
There you go. Now, I'm pretty sure the translation for that is if you say anything, we're
Gonna lock you in the
lock you
closet.
in the
Yeah.
basement with the cockroaches and not give you
Without food and water
without
for 2
food and
weeks.
water for 2 weeks.
I've said that to guys who call like telemarketers that speak Spanish.
Oh,
I'll say it to 'em.
God. That's
I just say it right into the phone.
That's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. So somebody calls up,
Yeah.
you say, "Oh, no speak English." They go Espanol on you,
Yeah.
and then you hit them
I'll
with,
say hola. I say hola.
Oh, my-
And I'll get them going, and then they just think I'm speaking Spanish. Then I'll just be like, ser encerrada caquicaras cucarachas por 2 semanas sin agua y sin comida.
You got a lot of things up your sleeve, buddy.
I got a few tricks.
I'm so glad we're doing this because, first of all, we grew up together, and I've always enjoyed the shit out of you, and vice versa,
We had
right?
a great time.
But like, here's the score, right? We've been doing this podcast for 2-3 months now.
A little bit longer than that, I think.
Whatever. We've only recorded like
Right,
6-7 episodes. but
planning and
we've been sending it out to people that kind of know us, and we want to see feel them out, how they like it. And I've got like 10 people I can name right now that have known you your whole life that had no clue whatsoever that you were amusing or funny or witty.
Really?
Yeah. One of them was like, I always just thought he was quiet, and I was like, he's fucking awesome. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's the best. He's DMD.
Wow. That's amazing.
He's explosive. I'm like, quiet. I'm like, he's
Quiet.
fucking explosive.
When have I ever been quiet?
I was
Never
like,
been quiet.
try getting him to stop talking. I'm like, I don't know. These people don't know who you are.
They probably just don't know because I'm, my brother and stuff, just a younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are people.
Even though I'm almost 40 years old, like they're still kind of like you're like a younger brother no matter what.
Yeah.
I show this to people that I've never met, Dan, and they go,
No, for sure, for
This man's a superstar.
No, for sure. People that don't know you at all that I know that have heard it. Think you're
pretty amazing. I'm kind of a big deal. I'd
of a big
fuck me. I'd fuck me hard.
King. I don't know if you heard this. But
Goodbye.
he sent me the photo of the before and after of him like minus 40 pounds when he's like in shape.
50 now.
And I sent him the meme. 50 pounds. That's like
50
half.
pounds.
That's half of your
Last
mass.
time I weighed in September at my doctor's appointment, I was 197. Now I'm 145.
Jesus.
It's great.
Yeah,
Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah. She doesn't like it. She thinks like
Oh, and go ahead.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just different because now when I go to like put my arm around you in bed, it's like putting my arm around another me. It's like hip bone. You're just really bony now.
She says my knees are bony. I think they were always bony though.
Yeah, well, let me tell you. I think your wife has a weird thing for knees because she's made a couple comments to me at work when I'm wearing shorts that she's like, basically that she's tired of seeing my knees, essentially. That like they're hideous and she wants them out of her sight. And now like when I go to work with the shorts on, I'm in my head.
You have a thing.
Yeah, I have a little thing. Not much. It's hard to bruise my self-image and my ego and whatnot, but like Yeah, I cover up my knees a little bit now. You know, I'm like, don't look at me. I'm hideous.
I was totally just fucking with him that day, and I was like, God, I'm so sick of looking at your knees. And now he's just taking it to a whole new level.
It stung.
So what was it about the picture you're saying?
The before and after photo is amazing.
I took a before and after photo, not because, like, I just want to track progress, even though it looks kind of like...
no, dude,
it just looks kind of stupid, but, like...
That's a sweet...
It's motivation.
I usually hate people that do that, but, like, now that I've done it...
No, you have to. That's it.
For motivation. Because I have pictures on the whole way down. Every 10, 15 pounds, I have pictures.
That's what you got to do.
And you could see, like, shrinking, like, everything shrink.
You have to celebrate that type of thing.
Today, what I was going to say earlier before we got into that was that we're supposed to be giving you like a knock on the, that's a hardwood knock, celebratory, you're officially in remission from
cardiac sarcoidosis,
which if you look it up is a bitch, and it's supposedly, no cure, but Dan's like totally clean right now.
The Google life expectancy says 3 to 7 years, which is kind of crazy because I think a lot of older people get it. But
yeah, you found out and you were like, nope, not going to happen. I don't think that's a real thing. And as far as we can tell, you used the Force to heal yourself.
I don't give a fuck about cardiac sarcoidosis. I'll tell you that right now. And I think I will recently. Besides the medication change, which probably did it.
Okay.
I think a lot of the positive shit, just that, and like
positive energy.
It's different pieces of the puzzle.
Willpower.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Correlation does not equal causation. So one thing doesn't mean anything. It's just it's a conglomeration of things.
It is.
And so like healthy living, vitamins, certain supplements, Remicade infusions, like.
The perfect storm, they call it.
And so over 3 years, I had a rough early 2020. I got shocked by my defibrillator 4 times, and like my disease was flaring up. I spent time in the hospital, and so now it's like a long time coming to finally get a scan where the doctor walks in and high fives me and basically says, she actually high fived me, and she said, you're clear for the first time. So it's always been a little bit.
Do you consider yourself living like past like the trauma of the first thing that's happened? Like, can you live with that? Like looking in the rearview?
I never even had trauma. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I'm dead inside.
It's
never bothered me. I had a little bit of PTSD after I got shocked.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it was really hard to lay in bed when the last couple times you laid in bed, like you passed out and got shocked.
Well, this hits on a big topic that we're gonna have Nanda on to talk about it too. But like,
death,
life, death, existence, extinction. These are all things that have been brought to the surface tonight. But like human beings, this guy in particular, just have a hard time coping with the fact that they're not going to be around, or that their consciousness is just not going to exist.
Who? Me?
Humans in general can't handle it. That's why most of the world's religions have like a solution for that particular conundrum. But as far as I understand it, you don't like it too much.
You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die.
Absolutely.
I just don't. I try to live in the present and not the past or the future.
No, I do too, but you have to accept that. Like,
how can you not live in the present, though? You have to live in the present. You have no choice.
You have to know that, like, well, he's talking mentally.
Mentally, of course.
Of course. Obviously.
No, I accepted it. I think my thoughts on it are more like, I don't want to think about it. I want to accept it and believe that I want to come to my belief of what's going to happen.
Death doesn't scare me.
Like,
old age does.
But I think it's like, if you start really, really, really diving into thinking about it,
fucking make you neurotic.
Exactly. So I don't I don't spend time in that.
There is one positive. Like on my deathbed, I'm going to call Chris in and I'm going to say, "When gone am I, the last of the Jedi will you be?" That's one positive thing.
That will be epic.
I'm anticipating that one. I don't care how old I am. I'm going to say that.
Sick if I become
old and weak.
Old and weak.
When 900 years old you reach,
you beat me
look
to
as
it.
good you have not.
You beat me to it.
Look as good you will not.
That's right.
I don't want to mess it up and have some Star Wars fan like, he fucked it up.
You've seen The Mandalorian season?
That's not canon.
You've seen The Mandalorian season 2,
yeah? Yeah, I've seen the whole thing.
How great of a job did they do?
The ending? Yeah, the ending was crazy.
Luke Skywalker comes in and like walks through these like impossible droids that they're supposed to be like, the Mandalorian's afraid of him.
Yeah.
He just like walks right through him like,
yeah. And he's there for the kid.
He's having fun. Yeah. He's just playing around.
When his X-wing pulls up, like
yeah, it's him. They think it's these other assholes that they've had in the show.
Even my wife got a boner when that happened. When the X-wing pulled up.
No, I teared up and
Oh, you
cried.
cried, yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah,
Cried.
it triggered an emotional response.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it happens. I think that was the intended.
That's what I meant.
That was the intended effect. I didn't bawl out, but I had an emotional response.
I definitely had an emotional responsive too of joy.
Yeah, mine was like, oh my god,
Well, because we're seeing things that like
Luke Skywalker, and I fucking know it.
on a show, and like we get to see Luke Skywalker again as young. Like it's amazing.
That's the
Never thought
untold
that would
story.
happen. Yeah, and that's technology. Like
They did
that
a good-
gives us that.
They did a good job with Carrie Fisher in the movies too. I mean, she conked out what
Yeah, she
halfway
died
through the
in
second
an
one.
airplane.
Was it halfway through the second one?
After a little bit of filming, finishing the
third.
filming of the second one.
Technically the
or
eighth.
maybe a little bit of the third, but
Technically the eighth one.
yeah.
Yeah, they probably filmed some stuff in different like.
There's a lot of movies and
exactly.
shows now. You know who gets looked over a lot? Are the Ewok movies. Remember
Oh,
those? The
they
Battle
should.
for
Those were
Endor.
awesome.
They shouldn't
Yep.
be. They're fucking great.
They're great. I love
Those were
them.
great.
Cinda.
Yeah, I named my dog Sendel once.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know about the Ewok movies,
Oh yeah,
and you like Star Wars.
yeah, I love Star Wars.
Okay.
I mean, I can't. I don't know like you guys do, but I love it.
Hit him with the Huttese real quick.
Yumpong, Gomorato, Kamawampa, Kais, Kachu, Kawawuki, Pichan, Wan, Chikokpak, Kangnam, Bito Tanki Droy, Ho Ho Ho, Solo, Fochovanki Chalia.
Because he's holding a thermal detonator. Okay, so this is what you're doing. This is what you're.
That little thing.
This is what you're-
That's what I remember.
Salacious Crumb is his name.
Yato.
This is what you're dealing with over here. Okay, so here's the question, Macca. You like Star Wars?
Yes.
I think we may have even gone to see one or two in the theater.
Yeah.
Probably not first one through. Like I probably went with Dan 1st.
Yeah.
Like we camped out.
We can't.
When Phantom Menace
2 weeks
came
before we
out.
skipped school.
Yeah, I was like a black belt in Taekwondo, and I was like, "Yo,
We were
we're
seeing
getting
it.
these fucking tickets,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna knock
you know
out."
what's funny is this is 1999,
99,
and they
yeah.
had a kiosk for like putting your credit card in and printing out tickets. I remember I was like, "Oh, that's new."
Dude, we were waiting on the streets.
Yeah,
at
we brought,
five,
your
like,
sister brought us
freezing
pizza.
our balls off.
We made friends that were like reading like Star Wars novels and stuff. Like
We would have, speaking of rock concert mentality, we made good friends with those guys. We would have murdered them in a heartbeat for their tickets if it was like they were
Yeah,
the
if it
last
really came
guys.
down to it,
I would
like,
have. We would have followed them to their car, and I would have been like, "Dan,
do you remember when we saw the teaser trailer on your computer?
put their head all nice."
This is in the late 90s, and we downloaded the teaser trailer on your computer and
Yes.
we watched it, and it was pretty clear. We were like, "Holy shit!" We were seeing the red
It was like,
lightsabers and green.
remember, it was like a
Yeah.
4-inch by 3-inch block on the computer screen though, because
Yes.
we couldn't blow it up.
But it was awesome. It was like because but previously
Digital
there was nothing
cameras.
Star Wars that was new. So Star Wars had been gone for years.
Other than books,
Without
Other than
any
books and the Ewok movies and some cartoons and bullshit, but
Well, games.
for and games. But really, it was gone. So like to see it again, like that's why the Phantom Menace was so exciting, even if it wasn't that great.
with no plans of really bringing it back. And so,
Right. There weren't
until
any
they-
plans.
Yeah.
No. And I think, and now to have sequels to the originals,
Right.
that's like, holy shit.
And TV
So,
shows.
Suck
and-
me sideways.
easy killer. So my question, Macca, is: you said you finished season 1 of Star Trek: The Next
Correct.
Generation.
Possibly skipped a couple episodes.
You skipped a couple filler episodes, which is going to bring
No, I
you
mean,
down.
I fell asleep.
That's going to bring your
That's not clean.
that's going to bring your mark down,
Not too gross, clean.
unfortunately. But you don't fail. So what
We had like a C-, I think.
what do you like about the show? What do you not like about the show? And I guess really, if you have to pick, who's your favorite?
Did he just say
character.
C-?
I said I have a C- for my
Oh, I thought you were
catching
saying
up on
Star
stuff.
Trek is a C-.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it an A+ in my personal opinion, but that's me.
Who do you like?
Oh shit! I'm on season 2, ep 15. I might
Whoa.
have skipped a couple.
Bro, yeah, like there's like 20.
You fell asleep through 7 episodes. It was playing on your phone, and you were laying on the couch.
There's a distinct possibility, but I don't know though. Also,
I've
These things-
ingested every
these things
bit of
fly
Star Wars
through.
I can. Star
I
Trek.
mean, if you, I guess if you there's a lot of footage to review, right? I was actually thinking about it this week. I was like, maybe we started them off on the wrong shit. You got to hit the right chord.
Maybe you should watch the original series.
I was thinking Deep Space Nine.
Well, the original series is where it all started. It's like kind of cheesy, but it's cool.
They do a great
I
job.
like it. There's some good episodes.
They do a great job,
You see the Klingons, and they look just like Italian guys
dude. We're
The
talking
things-
about it this week.
with eyebrows.
I really like Picard. I think he's my favorite.
Oh, he's a badass.
He is great.
He commands. He has
Jean-Luc.
that I don't necessarily love their outfits.
They actually get changed after. I think they get changed after the first season.
because the original jumpsuits
super tight, right?
The original jumpsuits hurt the male actors.
They were
backs.
they were one piece, right?
So the one piece hurt their backs, so they went to two piece.
So that's the kind of nerds you're dealing with over here, buddy.
Yeah,
we know about the we know the fucking.
I do like Data though.
Data's the best. He's my favorite.
Yeah, he's like a thought experiment on like what is it called? Like artificial intelligence, like the what's that point of when they become self-aware?
The singularity.
Singularity, yeah. It's like because he's a conscious being.
My father was.
He has sex in the show.
Yeah, episode 2 of season 1, I believe.
Yep.
Could be. I think so.
I don't remember that.
Might be a little later.
You don't remember that? They all get drunk. And there's nothing they can. They get drunk, and there's nothing they can do about it.
He is fully functional. He says.
Yeah, he's well trained in various techniques.
I'm well trained in various.
He does it with you don't see it, but he does it with the Borg Queen at one point too. But for your knowledge, my favorite characters are Data and Spock.
Okay.
And Spock's very much like Data.
Yeah.
Does Spock
That's what I gravitate
Data is like Spock.
Spock's from the original series.
Yeah, but
I know that,
he's
but
in
does he show up in Next Gen?
Yeah, he does.
He makes a few appearances.
A couple of them do. Like Scotty shows up, and the Doctor shows up. He's like 130 years old.
Right off the top of my head, I'm going to say it's season 5 or 6. It's a double episode.
3.
It's a double episode with the Romulans called Reunion, Part 1 and 2.
Because we talked about this. The Vulcans and the Romulans are the same species.
They're an offshoot, yeah.
Who's the guy who's not from Earth on the
on the Next Generation?
He's on the
Worf.
Yes, Worf. What is he?
I'm a Klingon.
He's a Klingon. So no, but normal. What's his backstory? Did they ever show it, or did I?
They get heavy into Worf.
He's half human though, too, right?
No, he's raised by humans.
He's raised by humans.
Raised by humans.
That's right.
Alexander, his son,
Spock is half human.
is a quarter human.
Yeah, and Spock
because
is half human.
Kalar, his mate, is half human, half Klingon.
I see.
Whoa.
Like Volana Torres.
Yeah, Spock's half human though.
There are some hot babes on Star Trek.
I think that's what I was thinking of. Was
Spock is half human, correct?
Because he's always at battle with his
You have Vulcan.
illogical
You have
feelings.
Vulcan, son of a bitch.
My wife and I named our youngest son James Tiberius after James Tiberius Kirk.
All right, that's
how much
commitment.
into Star Trek.
That's
That is
commitment.
right there.
I don't even know at this point if I like Star Trek or Star Wars more. This is different to me.
They are different, and I don't.
And I grew up more with Star Wars. But
I don't understand the need for like.
they don't need to be compared.
Do you think that was like a media war from like sports people that didn't want us to unite, and they're like, hey, divide the Star Wars and Star Trek people?
Well, that was a division that doesn't last anymore. A lot of them are both now.
I never bought into
but
that
in
shit.
the 90s, it was like really like a thing. Like you were
Trek,
either a Star Wars
Trek
fan or a Trek fan.
Right.
And Star Wars fans hated Trekkies.
People would ask who'd win in a fight, the Millennium Falcon or the Enterprise. I'm like, that's a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Millennium
Can they even
Falcon.
be compared?
The Millennium Falcon does not. Lasers don't even penetrate the shields on the Enterprise. Never mind.
No, the Enterprise would kill the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily. It'd hold it in a tractor beam and be like,
Against the Death Star.
different story.
Or like a Star Destroyer.
Could the Millennium Falcon get away from the Enterprise? I think that's
Probably,
their
yeah.
only hope.
But there's different science in it too, like the warp like speeds and
We can't outrun it. We got to outmaneuver
Yeah,
them.
they make light speed past a certain point on Star Wars.
0.5.
Yeah,
Warp 9's way
0.5
faster.
past light speed.
Yeah, Warp 9's way faster.
Warp 9's way faster.
Star Trek came
They've gone
first
plaid.
before Star Wars, so how much
Yeah.
of Star Wars is
Like it precedes it by like 10 years.
right? So how much of Star Wars is
There's
actually?
got to be some influence in
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
I'm sure
Influenced
there is.
by.
Well, yeah. Actually, George Lucas was influenced by a lot of things. Mostly influenced by Buck Rogers, like space operas, and he was also influenced by, which is okay. This is my favorite movie, not just sci-fi movie, but I think it's the greatest movie of all time. 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick is the greatest movie of all time.
It's considered a
Greatest
classic.
sci-fi movie, greatest everything. And that movie predicts a lot of shit too. It's
considered
like,
a classic.
there's fucking iPads in there that have IBM on them and shit. Like it's some crazy shit in that movie.
Yeah, there's just the AI.
Yeah. And the AI itself.
The idea that there would be an artificial intelligence.
Yeah. HAL 9000, the HAL computer. He has to kill it at the end, the computer, and the computer is afraid of death, and it's like Please don't. I'm afraid. It's fucking fucked up.
Yeah,
I saw it at 3
sure.
in the morning once stoned, and I didn't see it yet, and I was fucking scared.
I think in the movie the computer like calculates out that that's the most probable way to get to the human being not to kill him is to strike an emotional response within it. And
he couldn't kill him anymore. He was powerless because he tried to kill the human.
All right, so...
Yeah, so anyways, we can talk about that some other time. But
yeah, I want to close out the show, but I have a couple announcements, questions, things like that. First off, talked to my man... Howland last night confirmed that his brother is a brony. Okay? And he wants to call in. I said we could maybe do like a double call in. I don't know how we'll handle it, but
can we play the My Little Pony?
We might not have a choice. We might not have a choice. He is going to try to get his brother, the Sus Dragon, on the call. We're going to find out a little bit about
that.
I told you this dude's my buddy that okay, so first of all, my buddy, we covered this in the pilot episode, so I don't want to like regurgitate information, but this dude is like a really straight-laced dude who lives out in the Midwest in Wisconsin, the cheese state, right? Is it Wisconsin or Wisconsin?
Wisconsin.
Leave the N out. Is there an N in there?
There is no
At
N.
the end, Wisconsin. Like there's
Not
two at the end,
I can't
but not
read it right.
Wisconsin.
Ham, is the B in there?
Listen, I can't read it right.
I'm hearing...
There's two M's silent.
I can't read or write or do math, for that matter. So
Are you saying Pam?
Or catch a
Pam.
Anyway, his bro is confirmed, I guess, a brony, and he is going to try to coax him into like being on the show. Now,
in full costume, like.
Well, no. They're halfway around the planet. We can try to do a Zoom or whatever. But we just got to record it. But
is it a fetish?
I think this is like his lifestyle. But
he just loves My Little Pony.
Nah,
he's a brony, bro. He's a brony. We'll have to research some bronies. But then my buddy Howland's like really straight laced, and he gave me this like political test, like it's like the Myers-Briggs test where they ask you the same question like 25 times in different ways. And then they calculate out like what you really think. And so he gave me one of those for politics, and I was just fucking all over the place. It was really nuts. But he wants to do that on air, and it's something
that's pretty cool. Anyway. We should test all of us.
Yeah. But the question I have for you, Mac, to close out the show, and it's a big one. I guess you guys can both answer it. And it plays into what you were just talking about. I'll give you my answer at the end. But is artificial intelligence technically just the same as us, except it's made out of mechanics instead of biology? There are some computers right now that are semi-self-aware. They're trying to mass produce these things now, which seems to be like the beginning of every horror AI movie ever. But
yeah, become self-aware and sees us as a threat.
Basically, the question is this: in Saudi Arabia, and I think it might have been some kind of PR stunt, they gave this particular computer like human rights, basically basic human rights, and
where no one has human rights.
Well, right. So at the time, it was a fucked up controversy because there was still like women didn't have the right to do certain things, and they're like, you're giving this computer the right to be all these human rights when half our population's still being suppressed by this like bullshit. So my question is, do you believe AI is alive? Like, when it becomes self-aware, is it alive? And, if like half our population were running around as like AI robot type things, would you recognize them as equal? Like Data on Star Trek.
Are you like legally?
All of it. Just, would you respect them? Would you legally give them rights? Would you, are they alive? Are they real? Are they, do you respect them as an equal, as a like you would a human?
It's a good question. I
deep.
think it would have to go through a couple of evolutions to get to that point for me.
But eventually,
yeah,
if there was sophisticated enough technology and it was like really close to looking like a human and acting like a human and everything else, you would just consider it equal.
Well, how would I even know? Would there be like one robot move or like?
I don't know, just ask him.
You have a really good friend that's a robot, and he convinces you that like friendship crosses many barriers.
Right.
And what about you, man? What do you think about that?
Well, I think that if nature created us as sentient beings, we can create sentient beings of our own. I think actually humans are the evolutionary point to actually creating
stepping stone
to that kind of life.
I also agree with this.
Would you?
I think
Well,
sex
let me
robots
answer.
are going to be the thing, though.
Sex robots are coming first.
I don't
That's
think
what
I don't.
I mean, that's a no-brainer. Like,
I would have sex with a robot in 2 seconds. I don't think I have to answer that.
Yeah.
is that cheating?
AKA Ex Machina.
If it's a really
or Ex Machina.
if it was a
whatever.
hot robot like Ex Machina,
It happens.
Is that cheating?
That happens.
having sex with a robot. I'm asking my
Great
wife.
Question.
It happens in humans.
Ask yourself the same question. If
Oh yeah, okay, it's cheating. You mean a big robot fucking you? Yeah, it's cheating.
Yeah, that happens in the show Humans. They all have a synth that lives at home, and there's like a special key code you enter for adult mode, and you can have sex with the synth. And so, like, the wife finds out that the husband entered in the code, and she thinks that like the son stole the code to do it with the robot, and he has to like come clean because the kid's like, I didn't fucking do it. And then like the wife flips out because he had sex with the robot, and she's like, you did what? Blah. So anyway, I think that's a fun place to leave off.
Wait,
but,
do you remember one thing? Do you remember when we were kids? We played a computer game called Quest for Glory.
Yeah.
We were such horny little kids that there was like a bar wench in the game, and the game was like just like a shitty graphic computer game. And we used to take the cursor, which was a hand, and just put it on our chest and be like, well, "Can we get it to do anything?" Like,
They put that in games because nerds write those games.
Something happened
and
though.
they
She would be like,
that
"Ooh,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
You'd be like, look what happened when you
It
do
was
this."
like an
We'd be
Easter,
like,
it
"Oh
was
my
like an
god!"
Easter egg before you had Easter.
Yeah.
Well, what's that game that came out this year and had all sorts of bugs on PS5?
Oh,
But you could literally, not like GTA, have sex with a prostitute.
I know that.
like a pornography sex with a
I think you're
prostitute.
talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, I'm not.
The Japanese have made pornographic games, like Nintendo games and shit.
So you know how you can like record video? I don't know if you know this. You can record. You've seen my recordings, so you know, right? You can make video recordings of what you're doing on the game. There was some assholes in Red Dead that like lynched a dude and recorded it.
Yeah.
So they were like, they made it. They all got together online and like lynched a dude in the game and recorded it, and then they put it on the internet, and it was like, everyone.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
People, myself included, people found it offensive. And I mean, you never know who they're lynching, right? What if he's like, what if he's
actually,
a pedophile?
Kingsley, we saw the kids watching that video on YouTube of the guy getting lynched, remember? And we're like, what are you guys watching?
No, I don't remember that.
The guy being dragged by his foot by the Jeep?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was horses, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we just saw them watching something
Yeah, and we
recently.
were like, what are you guys watching?
That
That's the lynching.
that might be a GTA video.
It could be. But either way, we were like, no, shut that down.
So it's like violence has always been a thing in video games, and it's fine. But when you're adding that type of shit, it's like, hey man, like
there's a line, and we all know when it's been crossed.
like don't fucking program little kids. That
Yeah.
This is a thing to do to people.
Well, I mean, little kids shouldn't be watching those videos, and I mean,
No.
because we're the best parents. But I mean,
I'm just
we
saying.
make them turn it off. So
fair
there's
enough.
My little,
If it pleased
there's
the court.
there's my little pat on the
I
back.
gotta look at the kids with a straight face and be like, you can't do that. And I'm thinking in my head, like, I'm a fucking fraud.
No, you're just trying to, dude. I explained this to my child when she was 4 and she got it. Okay, I was like, look, I might have explained it to her slightly a bit older. Basically, she was very responsible. She was old enough to play with a knife, not play with, but use a knife in the kitchen, right? And then we had some other little kid over the house, and that kid, like, we wouldn't let that kid use the knife. And my kid wanted to do something later on, and I just basically sat her down and I said, look, all things in life are like this. When you're a certain age or a certain level of maturity, you can be responsible with like things like knives and fire and guns and things like that, right? But you wouldn't give those to like a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, right? They're dangerous to them. They don't respect them. They don't understand the consequences, whatever. And so I explain, like, sex, booze, drugs, fucking all these things. Like, yeah, humans are running around doing them left and right. They're very natural. Don't feel weird about it. But they're dangerous, and you got to be the right level of maturity and respect to handle them. And she got it at a young age. You know what I mean? That's it. So that's all I got. So hey, everyone, listen, man. Thanks for listening to the show. Until next time, question everything.